Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a My 2 Cent video for this week. For the week of January 15th to the 21st, though. I'm not going to do any video game or movie or TV show review for this week, though. A couple of things have kind of come up over the weekend, so unfortunately, I have to deal with them, to be exact. So there won't be any review for this week or anything like that. But in either case, we do have 4 stories to cover for this week, though, including the NPD has released the sales or the results for December 2022 in terms of their top, 10 Switch and all that stuff, including the best-selling games of 2022, though. We also will be talking about an interesting rumor popping up about Baten Kaitos, if I'm saying the name correctly, and the possibility we may see it this year, possibly during the summertime. We also want to talk about basically reports coming out that seem to indicate that Starfield may not come out at least on the first half of 2023, despite some of the claims from the site, though, and an interesting rumor going around about the possibility that Scalebound could actually make a comeback or anything like that, though nothing confirmed at this time, though. If you're interested in where I got the source of these informations, links will be in the description down below, so when you watch this on YouTube. But before we get started, I like to do what I like to call the quick My 2 Cents stories that kind of caught my attention, but I'm not going to go into a huge amount of details. The first one is that it points out this week that Google Stadia is officially dead and all that stuff. Google has recently pulled the plug after giving refunds to everybody, like everyone, in terms of those who made purchases with Google Stadia and all. It is a little unfortunate, though, because the concept isn't necessarily bad. It's just that the way Google executed it did not go as well as they had pretty much hoped for. That and some questionable decisions Google has made as well in terms of with Stadia, though, including rejecting maybe having single-player games on it, with some reports pointing that out because they believe people don't play single-player games, which is a pretty dumb and idiotic comment to make, though, and that in Google's reputation of shutting things down that don't or go into what's called the legendary Google graveyard and all. So it is very unfortunate, though, the Stadia shut down, though. Like I said, it was an interesting idea, just never executed as well, basically, as Google had pretty much hoped for and all that stuff. We'll see if cloud gaming really takes off and all that. Maybe over time, as the technology gets better, it might eventually become the new norm. But for right now, I think the problem was Google wanted to be the first one out of the gate, and well, they didn't really have a lot of things set up or ready to go, to be exact, though. And we also learned that the Callisto protocol basically did not perform very well in terms of sales numbers, to be exact, though. Some indicated was the budget for the game, which was pretty high, to be exact, and it kind of also brings a question about some of these video games budgets being a little bit bloated or basically going a little bit out of control and all that stuff. So yeah, a little unfortunate, though, considering that it was sort of at the time advertised as like this is Dead Space. This is like before we heard that EA was going to remake the original Dead Space and all that stuff. So yeah, not great for a new IP like the Callisto Protocol. We also learned that basically a union in France is calling for a strike around basically this month on the 27th in response to basically how Ubisoft has handled some of their stuff, including when they made some comments about sales numbers, saying how these games did not perform well, to the CEO basically saying the ball's in your court right now, which later prompted the CEO to apologize for the comment, saying that it was probably poor choice of words, which I think it is, but it's unclear whether or not this strike will happen or anything like that. Given some of the situation facing Ubisoft, including management's questionable decisions on certain things, to how some employees have been treated, though, I'm more in favor of them unionizing, to be exact. Whether that truly happens or not, it remains to be seen. Obviously, it's up to the employees to decide whether they want to unionize or not, though, but we'll find out if we see a strike happen on like January 27th or something like that. We also learned that Remnant from the Ash is going to be coming to the Nintendo Switch, and there are plans to reveal coming to Switch soon and all. It's kind of interesting to see this one come over though, because we've also heard about how Risen was coming over. So certainly nice to see more games come to the Nintendo Switch. Whether this kind of game appeals to you or not, that remains to be seen though. We also learned that there was a leaked image with the upcoming game Suicide Squad that seems to indicate that the possibility that there will be a battle pass, and some are indicating this will be like an always online or a live service type of a game, although recently reports are coming out that the battle pass is only for cosmetics. Still, I kind of can see why some people are a little iffy about this because of basically because of the worry that this could be another Avengers-like situation that tried to turn into like Destiny or a live service, and that did not perform. That's not doing very well. So I can see why there's some concerns with the upcoming Suicide Squad game, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. We also learned that there are a lot of reports about going on at Microsoft over that there are apparently going to be a lot of layoffs, as the reports seem to indicate that over about 10,000 employees are being laid off to be exact, and some of the hardest hits was 343 Industry and even Bethesda, which is kind of interesting because Bethesda maybe not in the same part with 343 Industry, but still a little bit interesting though. It does seem to indicate that there are reports such as one of the folks who work there are trying to help the folks who are being laid off in terms of finding new jobs or anything like that, which is certainly nice to see though. But yeah, it is a little bit unfortunate to hear how some of these employees have lost their jobs and all. I hope they are able to find new jobs. I really do. I mean, this is really not great in a way though, and it kind of throws into question whether the interesting because the timing of this, because it comes off on the heel of the 1-year anniversary when Microsoft announced they were purchasing Activision Blizzard, to be exact. But I hope a lot of these employees do find jobs though, and it will be kind of interesting what this means for 343 Industries going forward, especially with the future with the Halo franchise, which I would say they've had a hard time struggling with, and especially with Halo Infinite though. So it will be interesting to see what this means going forward for 343 Industries and other jobs over at Microsoft, especially with the Xbox division though. We also learned that basically that they showed off not Microsoft, but Nintendo showed off an 8-minute overview trailer of the upcoming game Fire Emblem Engage, which as I'm recording this video, the game should be out now. I'm planning to pick it up though. This is definitely a great way for Nintendo to start off 2023. I'm definitely looking forward to trying out this title and picking it up. There has been some reports indicating that some people have mixed response to Nintendo's approach to the relationship and all that stuff compared to say past Fire Emblem games. To be exact though, honestly, the relationship a part of Fire Emblem, I'm not losing sleep over it though. I don't think it was a big deal for me. I had no problems with it when it was in Fire Emblem Awakening, Fate, or Fire Emblem, like Fire Emblem Three Houses and all that stuff. So I'm not losing sleep if it's different than those games or anything like that though. But I am curious to see how the relationship part will play out in Fire Emblem Engage nevertheless. We also learned that basically supposedly the original Grand Theft Auto trilogy is back on Steam, and it is playable on Steam Deck. It's certainly nice for those who were extremely disappointed with the definitive edition, how that turned out, which I'm a little not losing sleep over, but angry at Rockstar how they handle what should have been what are classic games to a lot of gamers out there, and the way they handle it was very inexcusable, to be exact though. And because of how the definitive edition trilogy was handled, the report, especially from last year, was pointing out a domino effect in which they put on hold or canceled the attempt to remake GTA 4 to Red Dead Redemption because of how the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition was handled, though. So, yeah, I mean, great that the original game is back on, though. I would like to have seen the original non-definitive edition on the console versions, including the Switch, if they ever do that, which I highly doubt that they will and all. We also learned that Nintendo is planning to boost Switch productions in 2023, which is kind of interesting, though, considering the fact that the system is about, like, I think 7 years old. Again, if I apologize, get the number wrong and all. But it seems to be several reports that indicate the Switch is continuing to sell very well. I mean, I will admit this is very unusual in a console's life cycle, and it will be very interesting to see when Nintendo releases their fiscal report of whether or not they will stand behind this, or could we start hearing maybe hints of a possibility of a successor to a Nintendo Switch or not. We also learned that Fire Emblem Engage is getting a manga series, which is kind of very interesting, to be exact, but nevertheless, a welcome addition, I would say, though. No word at this time on whether or not it will be translated out of Japan or not, though, at this moment, though, so it's only being available in Japan at this time. I do hope it does get localized. I would definitely be down to reading it, though. We also learned that a game called Helvetii, Helvetii, is a new game that definitely gives off a little bit of what is a Muramasa, the Demon Blade vibe to it, though, based on the trailer that was basically shown, though. And it's one I'll probably keep an eye out, to be exact. I mean, it may not be Muramasa, the Demon Blade, a game I would like to see to come to Nintendo Switch, but it's definitely one I will be keeping an eye out, as I mentioned. We also learned a rumor that Persona 3 Remake and Persona 6 apparently are far along in development, and there are plans to reveal it this summer, though. This supposedly came to a so-called Persona Insider. It has leaked this information, though. No word no word if this information is accurate or not, and it remains to be seen whether or not these games will make their way over to the Nintendo Switch or not. Supposedly Persona 5 did very well on the Switch, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that Persona 6 could make its way over, but time will ultimately tell if that does happen, though. And in the movie and TV part of the Quick My 2 Cent, though, we learned that the trailer was shown for The Mandalorian Season 3. Definitely looking forward to it. I've been a fan of The Mandalorian, though. I've seen Season 1 and Season 2. I'm definitely looking forward to how Season 3 is going to play out, though. We also learned that supposedly an article from the Direct is pointing out the next trilogy in the Planet of the Apes series, though. According to what we're learning, it will probably be a continuation from where the end of, I think, was War of the Planet of the Apes or Battle of the Planet of the Apes. Apologize if I got the name wrong, though. Basically, the third entry of the trilogy that started off with Rise of the Planet of the Apes, though. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be looking at the legacy, kind of like Caesar left behind. So I'm very curious to see how this is going to play out and all, though. We also learned that supposedly for the upcoming Avatar 3 movie, though, is that Jake Scully, the character who narrated the first and second Avatar movie, may not be narrating the third movie, as it does seem to indicate that his son in the Avatar movie may be one to narrate in the third Avatar movie, though. Again, nothing official at this time, but I am very curious to see how that is going to play out and all. We also learned that The Last of Us, which had its first episode premiere, did very well for HBO Max. So obviously HBO Max or HBO has to be happy with that. However, it does seem to indicate that one of the folks or one of the folks who worked on the game wasn't credited in the TV show and all. There's been him calling for unionization or not, unionization all. Whether that happens or not remains to be seen at this time, but I am kind of curious why this person wasn't credited for the premiere of The Last of Us and all. We also learned that Sega has confirmed that more episodes of Sonic Prime will be coming later this year. If you don't know, that's the new Sonic show on Netflix. So I've watched a couple of episodes. I still have to watch some of the other ones, but so far, from what I've been seeing so far, It looks pretty good, to be exact, though. Even though it's probably targeted for a younger audience, it still isn't that bad or anything like that. And last but not least, though, there is a report that actor Alec Baldwin is possibly going to face manslaughter charges. And this has to do with an incident that happened, I think, a couple of years ago on the set of, I think, the upcoming movie that he was starring in, Rust, where supposedly it seems to be one of the folks who worked on it died when the prop that was the gun went off that happened to have an actual live bullet into it, though. So it will be very interesting to see whether he decides to plead guilty to this manslaughter charge or plead not guilty. So we'll have to wait and see, but a very interesting development to hear that he's going to be facing manslaughter charges and all. Okay, with the quick my 2 cent part now done, we'll get started with our first story. And this one is a interesting rumor that has popped up in the possibility that Scalebound, or at least in some form, in some capacity though, could be making a comeback to a certain degree. Now, for those who may not be familiar, Scalebound at the time was a Xbox exclusive. It was shown during, one of Microsoft's presentations a couple years ago. It was originally announced for the Xbox One, and it was this collaboration between, Platinum Games and basically Microsoft, though. Unfortunately, the game never really got off the ground or anything like that, and some of the presentation, it didn't get the best response, to be exact, though. That and the possibility of pushing for this online connection, which didn't exactly sit very well. The project basically fell apart, and both Microsoft and Platinum kind of parted ways, though. There's been some debate who's to blame for this, though, but a lot of the parties ended up saying that a lot of them were partially to blame. Platinum has done this, and so has Microsoft, though. Since then, though, the game has sort of earned the reputation of a project that never really saw the light of day or anything like that. If you're interested in more into it, though, Matt McMuscles, in terms of his What Happened videos, does a more in-depth look into it, though. Link will be in the description of this YouTube video, though. But what's also interesting was that several years later, rumors started to pop up the possibility of it coming to the Nintendo Switch and all, from supposedly a claimed insider who heard reports about this. Now, this never really materialized or anything like that, and since then we haven't heard any updates of whether or not that story turned out to be true or not. I'm leaning towards the most likely it wasn't, considering that supposedly Microsoft still owns the IP and the rights to it, though. Which brings us to the start of the new year, and now an interesting new rumor comes up, seeing that Scalebound, there's been some talks about the possibility of reviving Scalebound, though. In an article published by Game Rant and several others, though, they're reporting that an insider claims that Platinum has entered early discussions with Xbox to revive its canceled Scalebound project, though. According to the article from Game Rant, it basically reads, quote, Scalebound, the canceled Xbox project from Platinum Games, may be revived as Platinum Games is rumored to be starting early discussions to bring back Scalebound. Scalebound was once a highly anticipated Xbox exclusive release that revolved around adventuring along custom AI-driven dragons. Unfortunately, due to what's been described as the issues with Scalebound's photorealistic looks and online features, it was canceled in January 2017. Platinum doesn't necessarily believe Scalebound should stay canceled, though. Scalebound was first announced during E3 2014, but issues with Platinum's development of the game grew apparently relatively quick. It wasn't until Gamescom's 2015 that gameplay of the game was eventually shown, but it quickly disappeared again. A late 2016 release date was delayed into 2017, followed by the game's cancellation. Since Platinum was developing Scalebound for Xbox, the game's IP is owned by Microsoft. Resurrecting the game would, as a result, require Microsoft's approval. Excuse me. The report regarding Scalebound potential revive comes from an Xbox-era podcast, SHPESHAL Nick, a common source for reliable insider information. According to this individual, Platinum and Microsoft has entered a very early discussion to bring back Scalebound. To be pointedly clear, this is not confirmation of the project moving forward in any way. This is just said to be a conversation regarding the possible resurrection of the game or something ankle to it, though. The only additional detail provided about the conversation is that it isn't clear if the conversation is to restart development of Scalebound, the project that Microsoft previously canceled, or start the game over from the start. It wouldn't be difficult to imagine Microsoft selling or giving the IP to Platinum either, but Platinum would likely prefer for Microsoft to fund and publish the project over any other option. Given Scalebound is currently not moving forward, any option is likely preferable. It should be noticed that this is the first time it's been heard that Platinum is interested in bringing Scalebound back. The head of Platinum said in 2019 that Platinum would like to return to Scalebound if given the opportunity, though. In early 2022, the head of Platinum once again brought up the subject of revising Scalebound. Scalebound director Hideki Kamiya even went as far as mentioning Xbox Phil Spencer, saying, "Phil, let's do it together." That Xbox will listen to a pitch from Platinum isn't necessarily surprising. It is an important third-party game developer and potential partner for future projects. Where Xbox would ever approve the return of Scalebound is another matter entirely. Platinum's coming off the well-received release of Bayonetta 3, though, so perhaps it thinks it has a strong pitch. Time will tell if Scalebound will ever get a second chance in life. Now, again, as I mentioned, there has been no official confirmation on this story, so a grain of salt should be taken. That being said, though, to be exact, though, given, as I've mentioned, given how Bayonetta 3 has done very well, though, it's also worth pointing out that Bayonetta 3 does borrow certain elements of Scalebound in the game, though, and given where Microsoft is now compared to where they were back in 2014, where they were with the Xbox One compared to where they are with the Xbox Series X and S and all, it's not out of the realm of possibility they could technically revive this project, though. That being said, should or if Microsoft do decide to revive Scalebound along with Platinum, though, I have a feeling there is a very good chance the game's going to look completely different than what we saw back in 2014 or 2015 when we saw some of the gameplay, though. I mean, it's possible that if this project would be revised, it's possible that they may take some elements maybe some elements of Bayonetta 3 into Scalebound or something like that. So it would be really interesting if this truly happens or not. I wouldn't be completely against it because we know Microsoft, there has been some push by Microsoft to bring more Japanese developers in, to be exact, though. So, or at least work with Japanese developers and all. So this might not necessarily be a bad idea, and it is possible that Microsoft's is somewhat in a better position now than they were during the Xbox One. As for Platinum, it's been kind of a hit and miss for them, though. Obviously, last year, Babylon Fall was a complete flop for them, though. But Bayonetta 3 supposedly did very well, despite the whole voice actor controversy that was surrounding prior to the game's release and all that stuff. So maybe Microsoft saw how well Bayonetta 3 was doing and figured, maybe we could consider the idea of bringing Scalebound back. And like I said, like I said before, even if they did, I think they're going to start from scratch. I cannot see how they would salvage anything from when they was shown during the Xbox One era. So we'll have to wait and see if this turns out to be true or not. But overall, again, it's another rumor about Scalebound, though. I wouldn't rule out the possibility that Microsoft could revive Scalebound, nor would I rule out the possibility that they might sell the rights to IP, maybe back to Platinum or anything like that. But even if Scalebound were to return, even if Microsoft were to come out and say, hey, we're bringing back Scalebound, though, I think there is a very good chance that game's going to look completely different than what was originally shown back during the Xbox One era. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2. And this one has to do with Starfield and the possibility it may not hit the first half 2023 release date, as some folks thought it may or may not, at least based on a report from a YouTuber known as Mr. Matt Play, if I'm saying the name correctly. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my 2 cent video, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at Starfield with a interesting rumor report coming out in regarding that game. Now, Starfield actually is one of Bethesda's and Microsoft's really big title, and one that a lot of people have been trying to look forward to trying out and playing, assuming we know when it will come out though. Originally, it was supposed to come out in November of last year, but got pushed back. Both Microsoft and Bethesda decided to make that decision though. Many kind of speculated, and there have been several reports on the claim of following the fallout of how Cyberpunk 2077 was launched, yet at the time at a very piss poor state though. They didn't want to create that kind of situation with it, and it was one of the main reasons that the game got delayed. And of course, last week when we learned that basically that Xbox was going to do their Developers Direct, sounding like their take on the Nintendo Direct though, we later learned that Starfield will be getting its own Direct, which again, as I said before, this isn't surprising, as I've seen Nintendo has done this before with several of their high-profile titles. So I believe most likely we'll see that with Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom though. Well, now we're getting reports of the possibility of a possibility that the game may get a new release date though. Now, originally, the report indicated that the game was still aiming for the first half of 2023, but if this report from a YouTuber by the name of Mr. Madplay is correct though, it does seem to indicate the possibility that that may not be the case, but it will still come out sometime in summer of 2023. In an article from Gaming Bolt, it reads that, quote, YouTuber Mr. Madplay, who recently said on an episode of Defining Duke podcast that based on what he's heard from a source he trusts quite a bit, Starfield is in line to get delayed again. He clarified that it won't be a significant delay though. The game is likely to get pushed out of the first half of 2023. It still allegedly targets a summer launch, which means it could be out before September, unless it gets delayed again, of course. Given Xbox release schedule for the first party titles in the coming months, this wouldn't come as a massive surprise. Redfall is supposedly launched this May, while Forza Motorsport and Minecraft Legends are also due out sometime in spring to some extent. It would make sense that Microsoft push out Starfield by another couple of months to space out the big release a little bit more. Bethesda did recently related that Starfield is still set for release for the first of the year though, so there's that. Of course, Starfield is getting a standalone showcase in the near future. That'll provide another extended look at the game, so there's a good chance we'll end up getting concrete details about its release date, so stay tuned. Now, do I think it's possible Starfield could miss its first half of 2023? I would say that is a possibility though. While nothing is confirmed at this time though, I wouldn't rule out the possibility that Starfield could be moved past its early launch date of the first half of 2023, considering the fact that we got Redfall, Forza Motorsport, Minecraft Legends, and possibly maybe any other titles Microsoft wants to bring out though. I mean, it's possible those titles don't want those Starfield overshadowing those titles or anything like that, since Starfield is a big release for Microsoft and Bethesda. But again, we'll have to wait and see whether that happens or not though. We do know the fact that basically there are reports that Starfield will come out after Redfall comes out, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's like we see maybe a July or August release of Starfield. It's certainly not out of the realm possibility. Maybe June, to be exact though. So We'll have to wait and see whether that is the case, though. Hopefully we'll hear official confirmation whether or not that release date has has changed or not, though. So I wouldn't be entirely surprised if this got delayed again, though. I know some folks might not like that, though, but I guess maybe if it is true, I guess they want to make sure that games like Redfall, Forza Motorsport, and Minecraft Legends get their time in the sun. So overall, I would say, wouldn't be surprised if this happens, though. I still want to wait until I hear official confirmation, but I wouldn't rule out the possibility that Starfield... that was my phone and everything. But I wouldn't rule out the possibility that Starfield could get delayed again or something like that. Again, apologize, that was from my phone and all. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 3. And this one has to do with Baten Kaitos, but if I'm saying the name correctly, and the possibility that series could see a revival. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 3 of my 2 cent video, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at a series known by the name of Baten Kaitos, if I'm saying the name correctly. A series that originally had 2 entries onto the Nintendo GameCube era, but beyond that, we've never seen any new entries or anything like that. This was a game that was developed at the time was published by Bandai Namco and developed under, I believe, Monolith's Soft, the same folks that would create the excellent Xenoblade Chronicles series. Though they would also help out with Nintendo on games like Skyward Swords to Breath of the Wild to, for what I understand, they're currently helping out with Tears of the Kingdom, though, the upcoming sequel to Breath of the Wild and all, though. And also, it's worth pointing out that back then, Nintendo also purchased, I believe, around 90% of shares of Monolith Soft, which are basically part of Nintendo's development team. Now, the interesting thing about this one is that this is sort of interesting that this game is being brought up as a rumor and everything like that, because it was reported last year that a trademark was filed for this game, though, but since then there hasn't been any indication of what happened beyond that, though. Well, recently, there are several reports, or at least from a site known as Exputer, EXPUTER, which seems to report indicating, at least according to them, they're claiming that a remake or a remaster of this game, including its prequel, could be in the works and could be making its way over to the Nintendo Switch. This is what the article had to say, and this is the claim that they were making, though. Quote, excuse me, Baten Kaitos Eternal Wings and the Lost Ocean, a timeless JRPG from the Nintendo GameCube, was initially released in 2003. Japanese developer Monolith Soft worked on the single-player action-adventure along with another studio called Tri-Creaso, if I'm saying the name correctly. Being the first game in the series, the title went on to receive Tempest enthusiasm to its day, but it was still enough to allow a second render of the franchise named Baten Kaitos Origins, a prequel to Eternal Wings and Lost Ocean. Now, however, sources have confirmed that the first Baten Kaitos game is getting a remake exclusively for the Nintendo Switch. Exputer has seen graphical evidence of the title under development, but is unable to share any of its publicity, if I apologize for that, at this moment. Sources have also said that the release date for this remake is planned to be sometime in the summer of 2023, and that a reveal is possible during this year's E3. Moreover, the remake is in the work by the game's original developers, Aulx Studio, a Nintendo-owned company, right alongside Bandai Namco. Additionally, Nintendo is involved in the new remake and would work with the 2 developers to oversee the title's development. That said, it's still unknown the scale at which the remake will be developed. There's a level of uncertainty in the mix here, whether the degree of Nintendo's involvement in the IP isn't fully known. It is yet to be decided whether the remake will be through and through full scale, similar to Demon Souls, which got a remake though, if you remember that one, or a little held back on that front. The source cannot confirm this detail at the present. In addition, there is a lightweight chance that the remake could be released as part of a bundle where the collection would comprise of both Baten Kaitos, Eternal Wings, and the Lost Ocean, and Origins, but don't hold your breath. It's worth mentioning that Bandai Namco filed trademarks for both of these games in the series a little over 2 years ago, although not confirmed. It's possible that development began work on the IP sometime before, though. All in all, the news does come at a heartfelt surprise to fans of the franchise, since several have been drooling over a new Baten Kaitos game for a considerable while now. Again, according to the non-published graphical proof of what's certain Insider has shown us, there is something that is 100% happening. Come summertime, official Baten Kaitos news is going to surface sooner or later, though. Now, again, there is, like I said, this is a rumor and there's no official confirmation at this time if this game does exist or not, though. That being said, though, it is worth pointing out Nintendo has a history of keeping things to their chest, though, and surprising us with announcements that we never saw coming, though. Whether it's like the announcement of Donkey Kong Country Return when they showed that off during the Wii era during one of their E3 presentations, to basically the surprise announcement that Platinum was working on a new IP called Astro Chain and all. So it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that this could be true to a certain extent, though. Also, we have seen a lot of games that have been either on the GameCube and the Wii era start seeing some revival, or Wii, GameCube, Wii, and Wii U era, start seeing some revivals on the Switch and seem to have performed very well. Bayonetta is a good example, which saw the release of Bayonetta 3, though. Skyward Sword has made its way over to the Nintendo Switch, and that has done well. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, though. Super Mario 3D World, that came with another game with it called Bowser's Fury and all. Even Xenoblade Chronicles got a remake with Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. So I wouldn't completely rule this one out entirely, though. I wouldn't, and assuming this rumor is true and all, I wouldn't be against the idea of a remake, but I wouldn't be against the idea if they put both those games, into a collection. I would like to see both of them in one cartridge and all. It would be interesting to see if it's a remaster in the way how we've seen Night Dive Studios have worked on remasters of some games, like say the Turok series, or a full-on remake of the game, to be exact, or something in between, like what Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition would be, though. But in either way, though, I am kind of curious to see if this does happen, though. I never got a chance to play it during the GameCube era, which is unfortunate, though, but I would definitely be open to trying this out if this game comes to the Nintendo Switch, though. It will be very interesting to see what Nintendo does at E3 this year, and it will be really interesting if this is one of the games that they do announce at E3, or earlier or later, depending on if they're doing a shadow drop or like a Nintendo Direct. Some people believe we might see one in February or next month, though, but we'll have to wait and see. So overall, it is a rumor, and it is worth pointing to take this with a grain of salt, though. But I wouldn't rule out the possibility that Baten Kaitos could make its way over to the Nintendo Switch along with its prequel. And who knows? If the game does well enough, maybe a Baten Kaitos 3 could actually happen from the Nintendo Switch. Hey, we saw that with Bayonetta 1 and 2 made their way over to the Switch, and we got Bayonetta 3, so I can't rule out the possibility that a Baten Kaitos 3 could maybe happen and all. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to our fourth and final part, and this one has to do with December 2022's NPD. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with our fourth and final part of our My 2 Cent video. And for this one, we're going to be taking a look at the NPDs for December 2022. Obviously, it's that time when the NPD shares the results of where the games rank in terms of how they sell and everything like that, though. On top of that, though, they've also released the best-selling games of 2022, especially for each systems. Especially for one game that that seemed to have done well despite Ubisoft's making the claim it didn't. And it's kind of a little bit somewhat confusing and kind of makes you question if Ubisoft contradicted themselves in any way. But in any place though, in terms of the hardware and all, it's been reported that supposedly though, the PS5 was the best-selling platform for December and the year in dollar sales, while Switch sold the most units during December 2022 and for the entire year. So obviously, the Switch has definitely been doing very well. It kind of raises the question of whether we'll get like a true successor to the Switch or not. I mean, it's kind of put Nintendo, in my view, in somewhat in a interesting position, to be exact. As far as the PS5 goes, obviously, I think it does sound like we're in a position where it looks like the shortage or the storage situation might be resolved, as we might see more PS5s out there for people to purchase though. So the stock situation might have improved and also, but we'll have to wait and see and all. But anyway, over in terms of basically the top best-selling games for December of 2022, top 20. We got Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2022 at number 1, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet at number 2, God of War Ragnarok at number 3, Madden NFL 23 at number 4, FIFA 23 at number 5, Sonic Frontier at number 6, Elden Ring at number 7, Need for Speed Unbound at number 8, Mario Kart 8 at number 9, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion at number 10, NBA 2K23 at number 11, Just Dance 2023 edition at number 12, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope at number 13. That's the part that kind of interests me, because Ubisoft said those games underperform, yet they're at number 12 and number 13, and it kind of raises some questions about some of the comments Ubisoft has certainly made, though. But anyway, moving on. Minecraft at number 14, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at number 15, Nintendo Switch Sports at number 16, the Callisto Protocol at number 17, which is kind of interesting considering the developers said that the game underperformed and all. Animal Crossing New Horizon at number 18, Splatoon 3 at number 19, and Gotham Knights at number 20 and all, though. Now, over in terms of the top best-selling Nintendo games of December 2022, we have Pokemon Scarlet and Violet at number 1, Mario Kart 8 at number 2, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope at number 3, Just Dance 2023 edition at number 4, Sonic Frontiers at number 5, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at number 6, Nintendo Switch Sport at number 7, Animal Crossing New Horizon at number 8, Splatoon 3 at number 9, and Kirby and the Forgotten Land at number 10. Over on the PlayStation side, in terms of the top best-selling PlayStation games for December 2022, we got Call of Duty Modern Warfare at number 1, God of War Ragnarok at number 2, Madden NFL 23 at number 3, FIFA 23 at number 4, Need for Speed Unbound at number 5, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion at number 6, NBA 2K23 at number 7, Elden Ring at number 8, Sonic Frontier at number 9, and the Callisto Protocol at number 10. Over on the Xbox side, in terms of top 10, excuse me, the top 10 Xbox platform games for December 2022, we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 at number 1, Madden NFL 23 at number 2, FIFA 23 at number 3, Need for Speed Unbound at number 4, Elden Ring at number 5, NBA 2K23 at number 6, Sonic Frontiers at number 7, Gotham Knights at number 8, NHL 23 at number 9, and Forza Horizon 5 at number 10. In terms of the 20 best-selling games throughout 2022, we got Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 at number 1, Elden Ring at number 2, Madden NFL 23 at number 3, God of War Ragnarok at number 4, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga at number 5, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet at number 6, FIFA 23 at number 7, Pokemon Legends Arceus at number 8, Horizon Forbidden West 2 at number 9, MLB The Show at number 10, Mario Kart 8 at number 11, Call of Duty Vanguard at number 12, Gran Turismo 7 at number 13, Kirby and the Forgotten Land at number 14, NBA 2K23 at number 15, Sonic Frontiers excuse me, at number 16, Gotham Knights at number 17, Minecraft at number 18, Nintendo Switch Sport at number 19, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at number 20 as the best-selling games throughout 2022. Over in terms on the Nintendo side of the 10 best-selling games throughout 2022, we have Pokemon Scarlet and Violet at number 1, Pokemon Legends Arceus at number 2, Mario Kart 8 at number 3, Kirby and the Forgotten Land at number 4, Nintendo Switch Sports at number 5, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at number 6, Animal Crossing New Horizon at number 7, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga at number 8, Mario Party Superstar at number 9, and Splatoon 3 at number 10. They wrote 20, but that was probably a typo though. Anyway, over onto the PlayStation side in terms of the top best-selling games of 2022, we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 at 2022 at number 1, God of War Ragnarok at number 2, Elden Ring at number 3, Madden NFL 23 at number 4, Horizon 2 Forbidden West at number 5, FIFA 23 at number 6, MLB The Show at 22 at number 7, Gran Turismo 7 at number 8, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga at number 9, and Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales at number 10. Over on in terms of the Xbox with the 10 best-selling games on their platform for 2022, we got Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2022 at number 1, Elden Ring at number 2, Madden NFL 23 at number 3, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga at number 4, FIFA 23 at number 5, Call of Duty Vanguard at number 6, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War at number 7, Gotham Knights at number 8, Forza Horizon 5 at number 9, and finally the 2022 version of the rebooted Saints Row at number 10. So, very interesting to see how these games have done, though. Seeing Elden Rings and Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga on those lists isn't really surprising given how well those games did, especially Elden Ring, given the success that game has gotten from several different awards to the amount of attention it got, to be exact, though. I am kind of curious if those who enjoyed Elden Rings are going to be looking forward to From Software's upcoming Armored Core, the next Armored Core game. I think it's Armored Core 6, so apologize if I get the number wrong or anything like that, though. But what kind of caught my attention the most was seeing Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, and just seeing the fact that it was in the top 20 for basically for December 2022 is interesting, considering the fact that, as I mentioned earlier, Ubisoft made the claim the game did not meet their expectations and underperformed away, yet it seemed to did very well. So I'm kind of curious to see exactly was Ubisoft raising their expectations too high, or what seemed to have happened there. So it's kind of interesting to see them claiming, yeah, it did poorly, but then we see it where it did in the NPD charts. It's like, I'm not sure if it did as poorly as Ubisoft claimed it did. So a little mix on what happened there. But either way, most of this is really isn't surprising. Seeing Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and Arceus do very well, that really isn't shocking at all. Despite some criticism of how Scarlet and Violet has been handled and all, it seems to still continue to do very well. Plus, Mario Kart 8 still continues to sell because why not? It's pretty much Skyrim at this point, and all. So, some of this stuff isn't surprising, though, outside of the Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. But in either case, though, it's going to be very interesting to see what January NPD is going to be post-Christmas and all. So I'm kind of curious to see where things will stand, especially with the upcoming release of Fire Emblem Engage, though. I'm kind of curious to see if that will make it onto the list or not. And if it does, where exactly will it rank on the list? So overall, December NPD's 2022 is out, though. Seeing Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga and Elden Rings as some of the best-selling games of 2022. Is it surprising, given the positive word of mouth those games have gotten, especially with Elden Ring and how that exploded onto the scene, though? But to see Mario plus Rabbids, see Sparks of Hope do kind of well, despite Ubisoft saying it didn't, is kind of very interesting, and it kind of raises a question if Ubisoft got something wrong, or they kind of contradicted themselves, or not, or anything like that. Okay, this concludes this My 2 Cent video for this week. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about the rumor of the possibility Scalebound could be possibly revived? Do you think that this rumor is true? Do you think it's false in any way? And if Scalebound were to be revived, do you think they will continue where they left off when they canceled the game? Or do you expect it's going to look completely different than what they originally shown, though? What are your thoughts about the possibility of Starfield missing its first half 2023 launch date or release date, though? Do you think this rumor is true? Do you think it's false? Do you think it's possible we may have to wait until the summertime for Starfield to come out? What are your thoughts about this Baten Kaitos rumor, though? Do you think this game does exist and all? Do you believe we might hear about it over the summer, or that Nintendo might reveal it during E3? Or do you don't think this rumor is true at all? Do you think it's going to be a remake or a remaster more in line with what Turok Dinosaur Hunter was, done by Aulx Studio and all? And do you think that we'll see a physical version or not? And what are your thoughts about the NPD for December 2022, though? Were you surprised to see Elden Ring or Lego Star Wars, The Skywalker Saga become the best-selling games of 2022? And what are your thoughts about Ubisoft's comments about Mario plus Rabbids underperforming, considering how it entered in at number 13 for December of 2022? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I will appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my my YouTube channel, though. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You can do it through PayPal me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!